I'm going to do one more video today. It's about other kinds of parallelograms. So there's two other parallelograms you'll encounter that we haven't really talked about that much. Not parallelogram, quadrilaterals. One of those shapes we talked about will not be a parallelogram. Right? So here we have a parallelogram. It's like a slanty rectangle. Okay? You will have to find for you a height and a base. Now the thing about this, for my height and my base, here's a simple example. The base is on the bottom, the height standing up, but you won't always have that. Sometimes it'll look like this. Be patient, I'm very particular, right? Sometimes it'll look like this, and your height will be something akin to, I don't know, do you remember the example that I saw? Oh yeah, it was like this. Okay? Now, it's hard to imagine it, but this is indeed a height. Your height is a dotted line that we draw through the middle. And it will always make a right angle with the base. So if I turned this, looked at it like that, it would look perfectly normal, so that's the height and that's the base. The formula for a parallelogram like this is always area equals base times height. Okay? Now, let's consider another shape. Oh yeah, in this case, if height is 3 and base is 5, that's just 3 times 5, 15 square units. So, yes. Now, the other quadrilateral we're going to talk about has a little bit more going on in its formula. You're probably going to see it and be like, oh, this is gross. I don't like this equation. I don't blame you. This is the trapezoid. The trapezoid comes in 2 flavors. It's this guy. That's the height there. We have base. There's 2 bases on any trapezoid, base 1 and base 2. Remember, like I said before, the height and the base are always at right angles. So that's true here as well as here. Okay? As a matter of fact, if I drew my height here as well, we'd see a little rectangle comes out of it. Now, sometimes you'll see a trapezoid that looks like this. In this case, this can be my height, because it's still at a right angle with my base, just like this one. These are 2 kinds of trapezoids. To find the area, there'll always be a base 1 and a base 2. There'll be 2 bases. They always run in the same direction. So your formula is that you add your 2 bases and you multiply by height. And then you divide by 2. And that's area. So let's say if that is 2, and this is 4, and that's 4, you do 2 plus 4, which is 6, times 4 is 24, divided by 2, which is 12. So to recap, that's 2 plus 4, base 1 plus base 2, times my height, which is 4, divided by 2, which is 24 divided by 2, which is 12 square units. me say square feet. Okay? Alright, now if you just want to know how to use this formula, you can stop watching now. But for those of you who want to know where this formula comes from, keep watching, and I'll make it make sense why we can do this to find the area. Imagine, in the case of a right trapezoid, which is kind of a simpler example, I took this right trapezoid and I copied it and flipped it. So here, let's say if that's 2, that's 4, we have a height of 4. I'm going to flip it that way. That way. You'll notice this is the same trapezoid as that one, just flipped around and attached. 4 and 2 with the same height. Now you'll notice at this point, this is just a parallelogram. Where the two sides of my parallelogram are 4 and 2. So you get 4 plus 2 is my base times the height, because that's my formula for the area of a parallelogram. But that gives you a parallelogram times 4. But we just want to know about the trapezoid. Well, if each of these parts are equal, that means my trapezoid is 1/2 of my total area. So divide by 2, you get 6 times 4 divided by 2. Or more generally, we could say that's base 1 plus base 2 times height, and then divided by 2 to get this portion. So everything in math happens for a reason. And you can do the same thing to this one, honestly. It's a little bit trickier, to be honest. How would I do this? I would probably, these are different kind of like sides. I mean, there's a way you could do it, but the point being, it's the same rules for both of these. Base 1 plus base 2 times height divided by 2. I could go into some further explanations, but I think it would require some math that y'all don't know yet to fully explain why you can use the same formulas for both of these. If you're interested, you can ask me, and chances are, if you're curious enough to ask, you could probably understand the explanation. So that's my excuse. You have a good day, and thank you for watching.